Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my cheap and easy to make homemade root tabs that work just as well, if not better in my opinion, than store-bought root tabs. The main advantage to my homemade root tabs over, say, API is API root tabs are about $1 a piece, whereas these, one capsule like that, is about 4 cents a piece, which would be 25 times less. Starting off, I have this fertilizer pellet and the little gel capsules, which is all we'll be using to make these homemade root tabs. I will leave links to both of these or the closest thing I can find to them in the description, as long as a link to just an API root tab. Starting off, I like to put the little beads in the lid, and then I open up a capsule, scoop with the large end, fill it right to the top, and the small end closes on, satisfying little click, and you're all set. This is a pretty easy process to repeat. It can be time consuming to make a lot of them, but in my 40-gallon, I only use 5 to 10 for the couple of plants that I have in there. So every time I make them, I make a couple extra, and I always have some if I ever need any and don't want to make some. So on this one, I actually ended up filling both sides of the capsule, and as you'll see in a second, it was a little too much. It was difficult to close, but if you have a lot of plants close together or you're short on capsules, this could be a way to get more nutrients in than with the normal ones. And here's the result of just throwing a couple together real quick. Now for storage. For one, I like to use this old test strips container. I've got quite a few in there, and then it came with the little package there to keep out the humidity, which is very important. These need to be kept in a dry environment. So I keep that in there with them, and I haven't had any problems with it so far. So I'll throw those in there real quick. And this is the other way I've kept them, just in a plastic bag sealed tightly with rice in there, and that just absorbs any humidity that there is, and it's worked well for me. I wouldn't do this on a massive scale, but with a couple extras, it works fine. Now for how I put them in, I just grab them with my tweezers right at the base of the plant, wiggle it in to avoid the roots, and then come out very slowly so that the sand falls down and keeps it down. On this plant, which is a little smaller, I had to be a little more careful. It did push on the roots, and as you can see there, the capsule did slip a little bit, and it does again when I put the next one in. Just readjust it. You don't want to take too long because the capsules will start to come apart, and you really don't want all those beads loose in the tank, in the water column, but you do have a little bit of time before. They do get very slippery though, so I will warn you. Get a good grip with the tweezers and you should be alright. And lastly, a little trick I like to use when I'm putting them in a carpeting plant such as this pearl weed here. I like to just grab the beads and do one every couple inches, just spread them around. I feel like this spreads it out a lot better.